Hello everyone, I'll be explaining the problem D1 for the code forces round 740. So, okay, uh, what does this problem say? First of all, is that you will be given some element n, okay, and you have to find the number of ways in which you can reach from n to 1. That is, you can reduce your number n to number 1. And how can you reduce? You can follow a series of steps, and a particular step can have two actions. The like one of the two actions, either you can, so I've written this down, so you can go from a particular element x to basically any element less than x. Suppose, if I want to go from 10 to 1, if my n is 10, so one way would be that I can go from x to directly 1, any element less than x, or I can go from 10 to 7, 7 to 4, and 4 to, that's another way. And another step which I can do is I can divide my number x with any element between 2 and x. For example, to reach 1 from 10, I can divide it by 2. So 10 by 2, and I can make it as 5. Then I can, maybe subtract. So this is the type 2 operation. Then I can maybe subtract 1. Then I can again, if I want, I can divide by, let's say, 3. So this is a type 1 operation. Then I divide by 3, which is a type 2 operation, and I reach. So you can, do these steps in any, like you can have division as well as subtraction in one particular series of moves. For example, now one example of dividing, and uh, one thing I want to show is, suppose you have the number 21. Okay, from 21 you want to reach, suppose, 1, and you divide it by, let's suppose, 8. You divide it by 8, so you will get the number 2, and then you can maybe go to 1 directly by subtracting or something. Another way would be to divide it by 9, and you will again get 2, and then you can go to 1. So these two steps are different, even though we are landing on the same number 2, but they are different. Okay, so how do we solve it? Well, first of all, let's forget this part, the second part. Okay, let's only concentrate on this. If this was the problem statement, how would you have solved it? The hint is you can use DP for dynamic programming. So I'll show you how. Suppose DP of I means the number of ways to reach from the ith element to the first element, so ith element to the first element, by only the first type of operation, these operations, right? Then what you can do is simply DP of I would be DP of I minus 1 plus DP of 2 plus DP of, so like the idea is from ith element you can go to I minus 1th element, then you know the number of ways to reach from I minus 1th element to the first element. Or you can subtract 2, since you can go to any element less than I, you can go to DP of I minus 2, you can further go. So the idea is you would take a summation of all the previous values, right? Now I maintained a previous sum variable for this. So initially previous sum would be 1. Like I will start from the second index. For the first element 1, there is, like, the DP of 1 is 1, suppose. DP of 1 is 1. And then uh, whenever you are at the ith element, then you will make DP of I as previous sum. That is the sum of DP of j such that j is from 0 to I minus 1. And then you would update your previous sum. Okay. So this is how you would have solved the problem if only condition 1 was there. And this is one part of the solution. Now, how would you solve if the second condition was also there? Okay, so I'll try to explain it now. It follows like sort of the same logic. You can maintain a DP array, and DP of I again means the same thing. But now DP of I can be broken down into two parts. One is the thing that you calculated previously, that is the previous sum. That is, at the ith position, at this instance, you subtract some value, and then, the DP will handle the rest. The second way is you can divide I by 2, or you can divide I by 3, or you can divide I by 4, and you can keep dividing it by I by I at the end. So you have to take a summation of all this as well. Okay. This is basically the more tricky part. Okay. So now how do I solve this? The idea here is that let's suppose the ith element is 15. 15. When I divide it by 2, what do I get? I'll get, I guess, 7. When I divide it by 3, what do I get? I get 5. Then for 4, I think I get 3. For 5 as well as I get 3. And so on. So the idea is, okay, so instead of dividing, see, I would have reached these numbers, DP of 7, DP of 5, DP of 3, before I reached DP of 15. So while, suppose when I'm at DP of 5, suppose I'm DP of 5, I'm here, and I know the answer to this. Suppose this is 10, for example. I know for sure that this DP of 10 would have DP of 5 in it, because when you divide 10 by 2, you would get 5. So I can add 10 here. Interestingly, I can also add 10 here, because when I divide 11 by 2, I again get 5. I can also add 10 here, 10 here, and 10 here. Yes. So whenever you're at an element, what I try to figure out is what are these ranges of addition. Suppose when I'm at 5, I know okay, one range is this 10 and 11. The other range is 15, 16, 17. Why? Because 15 by 3 is 5, 16 by 3 is 5, 17 by 3 is 5, but 18 by 3 is not 5. Then I'm at 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So the next range would be something like this. Like this is a small observation. I'll also prove it why it works. But these windows length, they keep increasing. Okay. Now suppose I have figured out these windows. I know okay, that one of my windows starts at 10 and it has a length of 2. One of my windows start at 15 and it has a length of 3. And for all these elements I have to add 10. Right. Now how do I smartly add 10? I would not recommend you to traverse over these elements and add 10 there. So there's a very good concept. The idea is if you have this array and you want to add in a range L to R, what you do is you maintain something like a prefix R, and you suppose you want to add X. So you add X to prefix array of L, and you subtract X from prefix array of R plus 1. So when you take the summation, so this would be 0, 0, 0. When you reach L, it would be X. Then the next element would also be X up till R. And this would cancel it out. Then it would again be 0, 0, 0. This is what I do. If I can figure out this range, then I would add 5 here and I would subtract 5 here from the prefix array. So I maintain another array which is a prefix array. Okay. So first of all, how do we figure out these ranges? That I will show you. Let's take the example of 5. It's a good example. Let us suppose that there is an element A which when divided by some element P and I take the floor of it, I get 5. For example, when I divide 10 by 2, so if A is 10 and P is 2, I get 5. If A is 11 and P is 2, I get 5. So I need to figure out, like, from this equation, what would be the ranges. So what I can do is, I can write A as this. A as 5P plus some lambda, because I'm taking the floor operation. And can you figure out what would be the range of lambda? The answer is, it would be from 0 to P minus 1. Why? Because suppose it's greater than P minus 1. It's suppose, let's say it's P plus 1. When I divide this by P, this would cancel, this would cancel. So I would get 6 plus something, right? It would no longer be 5. But until P minus 1, it's 5. So I'll show how I calculate the ranges for 5. So I hope you have understood this equation. I would now substitute the value of P. I would see P cannot be 1 because you can never divide an element by 1. It was given in the question. You can divide an element only between 2 and that X element. So suppose P is 2. So A would be 5 into 2 plus lambda, and lambda would range between 0 to P minus 1, which is 1. So this would be 10 plus the range 0, 1, which is 10 and 11. These are these elements. The next range, how do I find it? I will make P as 3. So A would be 5 into 3 plus lambda. So lambda would be from 0 to 2. So these elements 15, 16, 17. Okay. Now one thing, if you think about it, ponder about it, and when I was making the video solution, I also sort of had to revise, like, why was it working. So one thing which might come to your mind is that, Divyansh, you said that we are, like, wouldn't there only be like 5 would only cover this, let's suppose 12 or 11 only once, but like there are cases, for example, I'll take a very small case. When you talk about the element 15 and you divide it by 6, you get 2. When you divide it by 7, you also get 2. So how do you make sure that this is added twice? So you don't have to worry about it, it's automatically handled, and I will show you. So now let's take this small example for 2, okay, and my n is 15. Okay, I want to make sure that I am adding, I think it would say 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, only I think it will be added twice. So for 2, again, that equation, that A would be 2 into P plus lambda, where lambda is from 0 to P minus 1. So when I take PF2, I would get 4 to 5. Then I would get 6 to 8. Now see the magic. When I take PS4, see, 6 to 8 range has been covered when P was taken as 3, because 6 plus 0 to 2. That would also cover the element 8. And when I take PS4, it would be 8 plus elements from 0 to 3. So 8 is covered twice. Similarly, like, it would go from, I think, 8 to 11. Similarly, 15 would also be covered multiple times. So you don't have to worry about the fact that, is it only being added once or it is being added twice. It is being added correctly. It's being added, I think, it would be added twice. Like for this example, you can see that a single number is not only covered in a one range. It can be covered in many ranges. For example, now, and what does this actually mean? That why is it being covered in two ranges? 8, for example, like I said, was being covered for P equals to 3, P equals to 3 and P equals to 4. This means that if I divide 8 by 3, or 8 by 4, I would get to both the types. That's why it's getting covered in two ranges. So it's correct. Okay. So this is like sort of the direction in which you have to think. I think I have explained most of the solution. I will just summarize and quickly tell what should be the algorithm. So the algorithm is something like this, that whenever you're at a particular element, you are trying to calculate dp of I. Okay. There are a few things that you have to do. I told you about that prefix array you made, right? You are suppose at the ith index. So first of all, you would do something like prefix of I plus equals to prefix of I minus 1. Fine. Then you can say that dp of I is equals to the previous sum which I calculated plus prefix of I. You know what prefix of I basically means? That it basically counts the number of ways in which these elements, uh, like if 2 is covering this range from 4 to 5, then prefix of 4 would include this, and prefix of 8 for example would include this value twice, right? And then you would apply, then there's this one more thing that, um, one thing which is not covered is, I think it depends on implementation. If you do it correctly, you can, like I handle the case when, uh, like I handle, like for example, let's take for 15, right? So for 15, after let's suppose 8, from 8 to 15, if you divide, you will always get 1. So this case of 1 I specially handled. I propagated these prefix arrays from 2 onwards. So it's not a very tough thing to handle. And afterwards, suppose you have calculated this dp of I, then you would propagate it like I did. So what you would do is you would try to find these ranges. How would you find these ranges? You would have a variable p. You will start it from 2, and then your range would be 2 into I plus, like p into I, 2 p into I plus p minus 1. So you would have to make your, like I told you about the updates in prefix arrays, so you would have to update in those regions. Like that is more or less the gist of the solution. I can also show my code. So, but it's not very well written. I'm not sure if you will understand it properly. Like I told you about the prefix arrays, I made them. I handled the case for ones very, like differently. So dp of 1 would be 1. The previous sum I initialized with 1, and prefix of 1 also I set as 1. Then, like I said, prefix of I, you would first add prefix of I minus 1. Then dp of I, would be the previous sum plus prefix of I. And now this is the case where I handle, like I told, for 15, from the number 8 to number 15, when you divide, you get 1. So for 15, it would be 15 by 2 elements, approximately 7 elements. If it's odd, there would be 8 elements. And this is like special handling for 1. And this is the propagation step. So like, um, from 2 into I, so basically p equals to 2 here, from p into I, and your you would add to prefix of a, that is, the leftmost part of the range, dp of I, and you would subtract, uh, dp of I from the uh, rightmost part of the range. So I hope you like maybe understood a little bit about the direction of thinking. um, Thank you for watching.